What'd you think of that journal piece? Yeah, we're both journal alums. They put some work into that, yes?
Yeah, a lot of shoe leather reporting there. They didn't get to see the emails in question themselves, but talked to multiple sources. Seems like there's compelling evidence that, the emails reveal what I think we already have long suspected, which is that there is a pattern in leadership of trying to brush this stuff under the rug or trying to dismiss it or not taking it seriously enough. I mean, we've talked about this before on the show. This comes down to more than just the letter of the law, or in this case, the letter of the consent decree. This is about the spirit of it. I mean, is this a leadership team that wants to come out and say, we're going to go above and beyond when it comes to our privacy of our customers, our most valuable relationship, or are we going to try to, do the bare minimum that we can in order to abide by the consent decree?
The question is, who's the customer, right? Does any of this matter until an advertiser says, you know what, I'm not spending my dollars with you?
I think that's true, but I think what this revelation, we know that Facebook violated the consent decree, and that's Cambridge Analytica, that's various settlements and admissions by by Facebook that it misled its users over privacy. I think what the implications of what happened yesterday are that there could be potentially a public relations problem, a sort of oil spill, a sort of toxicity to communications with Zuckerberg that could come out, which likely intensifies Facebook's willingness to settle with the FTC.
I'm going to do something very unpopular and actually kind of take up for Facebook on this one, being that in 2012 they were just barely passing the 1 billion user mark. Facebook was a very different company than the company today. The year before at F8, they had opened up the Facebook platform in a way that I think was very unwise and started kind of handing out data to all these developers. And it seems like they didn't have a grasp on what that would really do. And this Mark Zuckerberg email, at least the one that we've seen so far, seemed to be him saying, really, they can do that? And back in 2012, that means something different when viewed through a lens of 2019 and their dominance and our understanding just how destructive that move of theirs, giving away data, really was.
John, I disagree, because I think the argument that you make is valid in 2008. 2012, Facebook is under a consent decree with the FTC, which has very specific requirements. Well, there are apparently other emails that are implicating as well that the journal did not see. We can't actually decide. By 2012, Facebook had been not only sort of identified by regulators as having problematic privacy, but the regulators had taken action, which was this consent decree. And so
but I think the data was already out there. What were they going to do?
Well, their practices, as we know, over subsequent years, including with episodes like Cambridge Analytica, were pretty clearly not compliant with, at the very least, the spirit of the 2012 consent decree, but pretty apparently also literally with the consent decree.
Yeah, Stephanie, what I can't help but think, and we don't know whether there's a smoking gun here or not. We don't know what the specific details of these emails are or how many emails have stretched out over a period of time. But what I wonder here is there's this debate about whether the FTC is going to personally name Mark Zuckerberg and hold him liable for the situation. And what does this report do for that argument?
Yeah, I think that that's part of the public relations challenge that Kevin has referred to earlier. This makes it very personal. This isn't an anonymous set of executives hashing out and trying to understand. And, to John's point, look, if the context of this email really is, whoa, I didn't even know this is possible, that's certainly something to consider. But I don't think that the sources that have been talking to the Journal are sharing this information because it seems like maybe there's a misunderstanding and the CEO didn't realize that all of this stuff was capable of being shared. I think that these emails, the fact that they're coming to light, the process to me suggests that, Zuckerberg, there's a name and a face now associated with this particular problem. And it is the CEO, one who has, from day one, made it very clear that, he has super voting rights, super control, and so that he would suddenly be what? Who? There's a problem? Me? Seems a little out of keeping with the way that this company has been run.
What'd you make of, I'm sorry, you were going to say something?
Well, I think which has implications for how this plays out in terms of regulators and potential legislation in other ways, like PR effectively becomes one of the one of the things that is a factor in the outcome for Facebook. But we saw recently at their annual meeting, the majority of voters, shareholders who are not Mark Zuckerberg, voted to remove him as chairman. Obviously, he controls the company, but that actually says something significant.
Yeah.
But it is symbolic, right? I mean, it's
totally symbolic.
Yeah, I mean,
it's totally symbolic, but the symbolic becomes actually significant as we get into this next phase and emboldens antitrust regulators and others to actually take a harder line on Facebook. We have 2020 elections coming up where this is potentially among the issues that we know Elizabeth Warren and others have identified it.